What's going on, sports fans? Welcome back to another episode of Sports Talk and More. I'm your host, Alex Tillery, a.k.a. Coach Till. And before we get started, you already know it's a really bro moment. And my really bro moment is that the New York Giants are in first place in the NFC East. The crazy thing is that someone in the NFC East is going to win that division with a losing record. That is bananas. But if you go back to my prediction for one of my first episodes, I said the New York Giants is going to the playoffs this year. So it's still in motion. So with that being said, welcome back to this episode. I got my nephew here with me today. My real nephew with me today. So, people always say, hey, my cousin. Nah, it's my real nephew here. Introduce yourself, man.
How y'all doing? I'm Ricardo Patterson, Rico for some of y'all that know me.
So we're going to chop it up with Rico today. We're going to talk about his high school and college career, playing football and, how things are going as far as with this COVID situation, man. So let's start out. What school, actually, we was born and raised at?
So I was born in the Bronx, New York, but I was raised and I claim to the day that I die, Willingboro, New Jersey.
Okay. I feel you on that. I mean, you spent most of your life anyway, so it don't matter. Yeah. So freshman year, where did you go to school at?
I went to BCIT, West Hampton Tech.
And where did you play football at?
Willingboro High School.
Okay. So freshman year, how did that go? Like, you playing for Willingboro?
It was a little hassle going from BCIT every day, then going to Willingboro to go to practice, getting there late every day, seeing them already warmed up and everything. But other than that, it was pretty good for me. It's just another year of football. But I mean, started freshman, JV, and then got some time on varsity. Probably had my first varsity game against Overbrook. Got to play against one of my boys I met in the camp that year. Went down and made a fumble on kickoff twice. We had to replay the kickoff for some reason. I forgot why, but after that, I was like, yeah, I love football. So,
I remember going to your games. You was playing in the Pee Wee League, the Pop Warner leagues.
Yeah, those are
so
the days.
I remember going to those games. So for those that don't know, BCIT West Hampton is a county school. So Rico was able to go to a county school but play for his own school, which is Willingboro, because BCIT didn't have a football team. So he was able to play for Willingboro his freshman year. So after your freshman year at Willingboro, what did you do?
After my sophomore year, stopped playing basketball, ended up running track, and then leaving. I ended up moving to Marlton, transferring to Cherokee, going over there. Huge difference. It's a complete different world over there.
So yeah. So tell me about that. So you left Willingboro your sophomore year, and now you're in Cherokee. How did that go?
I tell you, that school was huge.
Yeah.
I got lost my first day of school, and I sat down on the bridge and just waited till all the kids got out of class so I could figure out how to get back. But there's no experience like it. I mean, if you want to get a taste of college football in high school, that's definitely a school to go to. Huge school, huge stadium. The fans is just like collegiate fans. I mean, there's nothing like it, honestly.
So did you play?
I played a select few games. I ended up getting hurt the second or third game of the season against Timber Creek. I got hurt, started having a horrible game, and ended up not playing most of the season. Ended up getting dropped down to JV. Then I was playing JV and varsity, scored my first varsity touchdown against RV. Now I started back varsity again, but then after that, by then the season was over. So
okay. I know you had some teammates over there that was doing their thing.
Yeah, shout out to Jonathan Lovett, Baylor running back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was mainly the reason why I went to Cherokee anyway. I mean, like, moving, I didn't know. My mom asked me, like, where do you want to move? Where do you want to go to high school at? I just know at the time I didn't want to go to Willingboro. I'm like, all my friends are there. I'm like, I want to get a change of scenery. And I had John in my ear, like, just come to Cherokee. I'm like, you know what? We ended up moving out there and ended up going there. I love the school, though. Great school.
So the experience there, so you got a chance to play there. So I'm sure there's a big difference between there and Willingboro.
So being that I was a freshman playing football at Willingboro, it was like you don't really get to talk to like everybody on the team. Like, the varsity practice and JV practice are separate. But over the summer when I went to Cherokee, it was just like I got a taste of championship football. At the time, they were back-to-back champions, and it was like that championship culture was something that, you know, when I transferred back to Willingboro, I never forgot. So it was like I said, there's just nothing like it. I mean,
so you stood there what, sophomore, your junior year?
So I transferred. Yeah, so I stayed there to the middle of my junior year. Then I transferred back to Willingboro. In the middle of my track season, the spring track season at Cherokee, number 2 in the conference, hurdler. You know.
Okay, that's what's up. So now you switch back to Willingboro. Now you're going into your senior year now. What was that like?
Honestly, that was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. You know, I had a little bit of obstacles to overcome coming back to Willingboro. You know, I had some teammates that I weren't really cool with. I had some teammates that I had some falling outs with. I had some coaches that I felt like I didn't connect with. So I was there. I felt alone. I ended up tearing everything in my knee right before I transferred, and didn't even know, and was trying to run one day and my leg just wasn't moving. So I ended up getting surgery, and I thought my career was over. They told me I wasn't going to play football again, but coming back, I just remember being in a weight room one day. All my teammates were outside on the field, and the head coach comes in. You know, I haven't talked to the head coach since the beginning of my sophomore year, and he comes in and told me to take it easy and everything. It was like, being alone, you don't really want to like talk to nobody. I was kind of like away, but once he spoke to me, it was like that spark woke me up, and it was like, all right, well, it's football, you know. I mean, that's something like, no matter what coaches I have, no matter what teammates I have, that's something you can't take away from me. Like, I'm a football player, and once he said, you know, take it easy, I was like, take it easy. Like, I got somewhere to be. And I don't know. One day I was just working out my knee, and then one day somebody had a bike. I was walking home from school, and I got on the bike. They was like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" I was like, "Yo, hold my crutches." Ended up riding the bike the whole way home, and I guess they said I loosened up the scar tissue on my knee, and I was ready to go after that.
Okay.
So it was definitely, you know, I thank Cherokee for making me, you know, a championship player. Even though I didn't get me a championship, I had that championship mentality, but I thank Willingboro for making me the athlete I was. You know, Cherokee, 3 receptions and like 30 yards the whole season. I went to Willingboro, I was competing with everybody in the state for receptions, touchdowns, yards, punt return. Never played punt return in my life, but I had the most fun doing it. I mean, came back to Willingboro, I had about 80-something receptions, 15 touchdowns, and yardage. I don't know. I got stumped for a little bit, but I still ended the season with about 870. So I had definitely worth the transfer, you know.
So transferring, that's the thing right now. So transferring. So you went from playing for Willingboro your freshman year to going to Cherokee, now going back to Willingboro. Like, do you feel like that was a mistake, or like how do you feel that played in your favor or didn't play in your favor?
You know, I never see it as a mistake. You know, my family, we were moving, so regardless of how it was, I was going to end up playing for a different school anyway. But I didn't really I don't feel no negative, you know, results to it. Like, I feel as though once I transferred, I got a taste of a new scenery. Like, my freshman year, I didn't do too great in the class. Sophomore year, I didn't do too great in the class. I transferred. I got away from my friends for a little while. You know, like, I was in school, and next thing I know, my grades are going up. I ended up having a 3.8 for the semester at Cherokee, and I was like, I like school. So coming back to Willingboro, like I said, I had some falling out with everybody, but I don't think that was a negative thing. I still got some time away from my friends to, you know, finish the junior year off strong and start my senior year strong. So I don't feel like it was a negative thing. I always feel like it was a good thing that happened to me. You know, some blessings come in disguise. So,
because the reason why I bring it up, because a lot of kids transfer for a lot of different reasons.
Yeah.
I mean, your situation was your family moved, so you was gonna switch anyway. But some kids will play with one school, and if they don't like that school or they don't like the coach or whatever, that's becoming like the norm to transfer.
Nah, I love Willingboro. I grew up with those kids out there. I mean, my teammates and some of the people that I still talk to today, some of the only people that I mess with today, you know. We won a championship my 8th grade year, 11-0, undefeated, and that's just something that stuck with me forever. Like, I mean, I had a falling out with some of my teammates, but those people that were on my team that year, those are the only people that made me feel comfortable and welcome when I came back. So, you know, it was never no bad blood between us, though. I mean, just, you know, sometimes you got to rekindle that friendship.
Yeah, definitely. So now we're gonna get into your collegiate situation. So first year of college, where you play at?
I was actually at Shaw my freshman year of college. I didn't play over there. I ended up redshirting, and when the next season came, I ended up transferring again. Yeah, I guess transfer is my word for the day, I guess.
Yeah. That's what I'm trying to get at right there. So,
Yeah.
So when you transfer, so now where you at now?
I'm currently at Lincoln right now. That's where I plan to stay, and it's my home. I left Shaw because it was getting to be so much money there, and I wanted to come home and help first, so I could get myself back into school and not really have much to worry about. And ended up I was gonna go JUCO, but I guess I seen a better opportunity for myself at Lincoln. Play Division II football. Not too many people get to play football at all at the college level. I'm like, I'll take this opportunity and I'll make the best of it. So now I'm at Lincoln, LU 1854.
Okay. So you started at BCIT in Willowboro, went to Cherokee, back to Willowboro, to Shaw, then now you're at Lincoln. Whew. Yeah, transfer, huh? So, but your experience at Shaw, how was it? I know you didn't get a chance to play, but how was your experience there as far as school and the culture and everything like that?
Growing up, I always wanted to play football down south. I lived with my grandfather down in South Carolina for a little bit. What a lot of people don't know is I actually went down there for a summer and was playing on the high school football and basketball team in 8th grade. I was practicing with them every day, scrimmages and everything. I was like, all right, I love it down here. Like, I wanted to move down there and play football down there. And it was like, I guess that's kind of why I was drawn to the South when it was time to pick a school to go to. But my sophomore year in high school, my grandfather actually died, and I didn't want to move down there no more because, that was the person I was going to move with. But I guess when I graduated, I was still kind of drawn to playing football down there. And there's nothing like playing football down there. They play like big, strong man football.
The South is different.
Yeah.
The South is different.
I had a lot of teammates from Florida, Atlanta. I had a teammate from Tennessee, a lot of North Carolina, South Carolina, Maryland. So I got like a real taste of what it was to play football down there. And then really realizing like, all right, well, I dominate football up here, in my opinion. Some people would tell you, but I went down there and was still able to do the same thing, but better. I was like, yeah, I love it down here. I gotta make something from it. So, but yeah.
So you end up redshirting there.
Yeah.
So, like now, if it wasn't for the situation, I guess you said with the money situation, you would have mind staying there, or you?
I don't know. I had thoughts of leaving Shaw. Shaw just didn't feel like home to me. I had no issues with the team or the school itself. It was a small school, but I knew everybody, so I guess I felt like it was like Willingboro 2.0 for me a little bit. But I just didn't feel like Shaw was a place for me. We used to practice at NC State. I used to see all their facilities, their turf fields and everything. And it was just something about Division I football that like I was drawn to. Every kid's dream is to play in the NFL. And I wanted to play D1 football because I felt like that would be the better route for me. But then I realized that, you can go to the league from any level. You have people from JUCOs and Division III schools in the league. But I don't know. It just was playing football at Shaw. I'm surrounded by a lot of big schools. Like we had NC State, we had A&T, Central, Duke, and all those schools. I'm surrounded by all my favorite schools. I want to transfer, but ended up looking into Appalachian State. Didn't really, I got accepted and everything, but I just felt like that wasn't the school for me. So, I came home for a little bit, started working, then went back to school, ended up going to Lincoln. And I found a home there. A lot of Willingboro kids are there, a lot of New Jersey kids are there, and that's something I didn't get when I was down south. I kind of missed home, but I really just missed being around my people. That's what it was, I guess. So
I know before we get into the COVID situation, last year you got to play. How did that go?
I love college football. Playing for Shaw, I didn't get to play or nothing like that, so I didn't really, get the full effect of college football. Of course, I went through camp and everything, but as a redshirt, so I wasn't able to do too much. But playing last year, I don't know. I got a feel of who I was at the college level. I feel like every year there's a process of me having to find myself, the new version of me. Got to crack this shell open. And my first couple games I didn't get to play. But by the time that I did get to play, it was just like, there's nothing different. Football is football no matter what level you're playing at. I mean, like, there's the love for the game, and then there's what you're going to do. And I don't know, I just fell in love. It was like I love football, but now I love college football. It was like a different kind of love. Like, you got your band, you got your fans there. My first game I got to play was against Dell State, which is a Division I school. And I'm like, yo, like, these bands are going at it. The fans are out there going at it. The referees is out there going at it. I'm like, yo, this is the closest thing to me playing for a Division I school, but I'm happy where I'm at. So after that, the next game I didn't really get too much PT, but then after that I came back and scored my first collegiate touchdown. And like,
how was that?
I honestly, I don't know. I can't really, like, not that I can't remember it, but it was like I scored the only touchdown that game, and it was like the third quarter. So one thing about me, I'm the type of person, like, I'm grateful for everything I get. Like, that touchdown, I'm grateful for it, but there was still more work to be done. So, like, we weren't winning. The game wasn't over. Like, I came to the sideline. I remember my athletic director coming over to me. He's like, didn't I tell you that this was the game? And I wasn't even sure what he was talking about. And I look at the scoreboard. I'm like, yo, I just scored. So everybody looking at me like, yo, he's so calm. He just scored. A couple tears came out my eyes. I'm like, my first college touchdown. It was emotional. But, I mean, I just knew once I scored that one touchdown, there was more to come. It was just reminded me of my junior year of high school where I scored my first touchdown. And it was like, I like this feeling. I want to keep doing it. So after that, we came home and lost a game. And we went back out after our homecoming game. We went to play Johnson C. Smith. Scored another touchdown. I was like, yo, I could get used to this feeling. I was playing tight end at the time. I'm a wide receiver. My coach, they all know that I'm one of those athletes that you can just put at any position and I'm going to get the job done. So we needed some tight ends. My coach put me at tight end. We had this one play that was drawn up for me to score. My coach was like, this is the play right here. You got to score. I'm like, coach, the ball come my way. I'm catching it. I'm scoring. There's nothing that can stop me. So, play starts developing. I'm running a corner and I got a safety over top of me, a corner over top of me, a linebacker over top of me, a DN dropping back. I'm like, yo, there's 4 people around me. I'm like, he's not going to throw the ball. He's going to run. So I turn my head back, and I see the ball in the air. I'm like, the ball's in the air. I'm going to go get it.
Go get it.
So I scored my second touchdown and dropped to my knees, started tearing up a little bit. I'm like, yo, I could really get used to this feeling. But one thing that motivates me, is my dad. I mean, although, my dad's not around right now, but every time I do something, I think about him. So when I came to the sideline, I'm like, I got on my knee and started praying because I got to thank God for everything that I do because without him, there's no me, obviously. But then I started, I always, whether he's there or not, I still talk to my pops, and, I thanked him too. And then my teammates came to pick me up. It was like, yo, you tied the game up. I was like, tied the game up. And I looked at the scoreboard. We kicked the field goal. Now we're up. So I'm like, okay, now we're up. They was like, yo, you put us in a league, there's still more for you to do. My coaches are telling me like, yo, I understand what you got going on, but there's more for you to do. So we play in the game, go back out there on kickoff. Got my first college forced fumble. Wow. I was getting held by 2 guys, and I guess the returner, he was like, well, I see a hole, I see an opening. I said, well, I didn't really feel the defenders on me until I watched film. And I was like, I see an opportunity. I made him fumble. My teammate picks up the ball. We get back on offense. I come out to the sideline. I'm like, I don't know what's better, getting the ball back for my team or scoring for my team. But I was like, these are some feelings that I can get used to. And that's one thing I never really realized, that, special teams matters a lot.
Oh, big time. You watch it now.
Yeah.
College and pros.
Game changers.
Yeah.
I might have it flipped. I think I got the fumble first and then scored. So, now that I'm thinking about it, you can see how the game changes. We get the ball back and then we go down and score. Before that, we don't have ball in our hands. There's an opportunity for the other team to score and everything. But it was just like that fumble, that touchdown. It was like, I can't wait to do more.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure it's a good feeling, especially when you're helping your team out. Like, definitely, like you said, special teams is very important. Very important. A lot of people don't look at it that way because they're like, oh, well, they just kicked the ball. Listen, if you don't make that tackle and my man run back a 60-yard punt, that's points on the board for the other team.
Yeah.
Or if you on that team and you run it back for 60 yards for the touchdown, that's points for your team.
Yeah.
So anyway you put it, it's still it's not the play it's not the every down play, but it does matter. If that's the case, then you won't have it.
Game changers. I mean,
big time.
I never really paid much attention to special teams until I got to like my senior year of high school when I was back there returning punts, and we started off 0-2. We were playing another 0-2 team, Delran, that year, and I was back there for punt return. I'm like, yo, we need to score. So I get the ball. I'm going back. I'm running for 80 yards. I'm like, oh, I need to score. I'm like, I didn't score. I was mad. Look, I got caught on the 1 yard line, 3 yard line. I wasn't the fastest athlete back then. Plus, I was coming off of a knee injury. I wasn't, who I could have been, but it was like I see how me taking that punt back 80 yards doesn't put us in their home territory. Now where our territory is, like we come back and now
field position. Yep, exactly. Field goals, all that stuff matters, man. All that stuff matters. So now you at your next year in Lincoln and COVID hits. So now I know a lot of Division I schools and a lot of schools are playing. They start their season late, but you guys got postponed to where you might not even have a season this year. How does that work for you, man?
It's a huge mental game. You gotta realize like some things you can't control. Two things my coach always tells me, the two things you can control is energy and effort. I mean, I remember there was a petition going around. The football team started and some of the students at my school started so we can get the season to continue. And we had, let's say we needed 10 signatures. We got like 100 signatures and still no season. So I realized like, all right, there's some things that you can't control. So I got to put my energy and effort into what I can, which is, maintaining my body, making sure that I'm getting right, mentally, make sure I'm getting smarter, getting stronger, getting faster. I mean, there's no season, so there's no season. I mean, I can't dwell upon that thought. I just got to get better. Same thing, we were on campus this semester. We didn't have a season. It didn't feel right, just working out for a whole semester long, but I can see that it's going to help. I don't really have the communication skills to, build a relationship with most of my teammates, but this semester I kind of, being that I was an upperclassman, my coaches, they looked to me to step up this semester. So I got in, connection with a lot of the freshmen and stuff like that, and a lot of my teammates that from previous teammates, because not everybody was on campus. So it's just, I guess there's things that I can't take from COVID. Some people look at it as a blessing in disguise. I mean, it just depends on how you look at it. I know it took my season away, but it gave me opportunity to do other things like, build a connection with my teammates at least. So that's one thing that I, picked up.
No, that's good. That's good. I mean, during this season, a lot of people, I mean, you can ask 10 people, you're going to get probably 10 different answers. Like some people benefit from COVID. A lot of people probably didn't benefit from COVID. So I understand. Yeah. So do you think y'all going to have a season this year? Like what do you think? Like what was from what you heard as far as a player, what did you hear? Well,
we still have our team meetings and everything on Zoom. So, our coaches try to give us insight on everything that they know. Right now, it's just a huge waiting game. We don't really know much yet. They're projected to, COVID's supposed to get worse. People are saying in 2021, the start of it. So we don't really know. I mean, we were supposed to, have a spring season somewhat, but we don't really know how that's going to go. But I mean, I just try to stay optimistic. I want to have a season, so I'm hope I have a season. Whenever my teammates are like, oh, you think we're going to have a season or whatever, I just say, we just got to hope the best and continue to get better. I try not to think about it too much because, football plays a huge part of my life. And that's one of the things that kind of got me this pandemic is like people say there's life after football. Football is not going to last forever. And it kind of it made me remember when my senior year came and I almost didn't play because, my knee and everything, they said I wasn't going to play ever again. I was like, I got to have other things to fall back on.
Plan B, yep.
So I made sure I was good with my grades, got bigger, stronger, faster. Just because, I mean, the season going to come, that don't mean I stopped getting better. And then, I picked up other things. I started training athletes. I got my own training business called MAP Training. Mm-hmm. It stands for Monitoring All Performances, Mental and Physical, so it has a dual meaning. I started doing photography, videography. I also make music now, so.
Yeah, I know. You jack of all trades right about now.
I mean, you gotta have flow of money from everything, when that's the
7 streams of income.
Yeah.
That's what they say. If you want to be wealthy, you want to be rich, you want to have a debt-free, you want a financial freedom, 7 streams of income, man.
No, this is not the first time you told me that.
I know.
You told me that my freshman year coming into BCIT. I didn't want to explore anything. Mm-hmm. And you was like, got to have a job when you get out of school.
Yeah, 7 streams of income, man. Listen, you see what I do. I do everything.
Do it all. That's inspiration, though.
Yeah. Gotta keep it going. So one last thing. I know this is kind of a bad question, but I know you sit around on Saturdays, you watching these D1 colleges play, man. I know you sitting at home itching, man.
Yeah.
I know you sitting at home itching, man. Especially, who's your favorite? Clemson's your favorite team.
Yeah.
What's going on with them this year, yo?
A whole lot. Honestly, this year I kind of didn't watch too much college football. Mm-hmm. I mean, being that I didn't have a season, just like my freshman year in college when I redshirted, I had a lot more time on my hands to, watch college football. Ended up getting to go see my god brother Jonathan Lovett play against West Virginia this year. So, I guess watching people play and I'm not playing, it's not always a bad thing. There's always something you can learn from the game. My coach, Coach Smith, my wide receiver coach at Lincoln, he always tells me, be a student of the game at all times. There's you'll never stop learning football. There's always something new to learn. Mm-hmm. And watching, the Division I schools play, they might be playing the same game I'm playing, but it might be a different intensity. Mm-hmm. I might pick up a different move from somebody. I might see how their coaches react to certain things. So it's like I said, it's always a learning game. You just gotta be patient. I mean, of course, watching a couple games didn't hurt. I mean, I know I don't have a season, but I'm not gonna hate on the D1 schools for playing. Can't stop the money.
It's politics, man.
Yeah.
It's politics. There's big money in that situation. So, they're gonna figure out a way for them to play.
Yeah, of course.
They're definitely gonna figure out a way. So, you kind of jumped into it real quick. So I want you to go back just a little bit, talk about your training that you're doing. How is that working for you, the training that you're doing?
So I put it on hold to go back to school. Mm-hmm. I was training some of my teammates and stuff like that. I mean, being at home during the pandemic, there wasn't much to do. But one thing I did every single day was work out. I got some of my teammates, we worked out every day. So one of my teammates, old teammates, Amir Murray, he kind of inspired me to start my business. He's like, we go to the field every day. I'm helping people get better in different aspects of the game. He's a running back, but I'm a receiver. So there's moves that I can teach him. There's footwork drills that I can teach him. He was like, you're a student of the game, but you can also be a teacher at the same time. And that's one thing I like to know I learned so much information about the game from so many different people that is great at the game. I can give this information back to other people. And, at the time it was like, all right, well, how am I going to get this started? It goes back to my sophomore year in college, my spring season. I was trying to sleep one night, but I couldn't sleep. And what tends to happen when I can't sleep is I think about a lot of things. And I was like, you know what? I want to start this training business. I want to start this training business. And I'm up and I'm like, why do I keep thinking about this training business?
That's God speaking to you. You know what?
I'm going to get it started right now. It was probably 4 a.m. I had weight room at 6 o'clock, but I woke up at 5 o'clock every day just to get right with God and, just thank him for everything and just thank for waking me up. And I'm like, well, I didn't wake up today because I didn't go to sleep. So I'm going to thank him for giving me this opportunity to think about a lot of things. So once the pandemic hit, they sent us home from school. I was one of the last people to go home from school because I was an RA at the time. So I was in the dorm by myself thinking like, what can I do to get started? What can I do to get started? I'm like, you know what? When I get home, I want to try to host some camps. I want to try to give back to my old football teams and everything. But then the pandemic kind of got I ain't gonna say get a little bit more serious because it's always been serious, but it hit New Jersey a different way when they shut down everything and they didn't want people around each other. So I started just training with my team, my old team. They started bringing their siblings out and everything. I have my little cousins, Nassim Gresham. He plays for the high school right now. Got him with me a lot. Started going to the sand pit. People started liking what they were seeing. So I made an Instagram page for it. You know, I started posting some content on there. And from there, just like, it was just a step, like each step, there were just steps of things. Like, you don't know what's going to be at the top of the stairs, but that's not going to stop you from walking up them. You know what I mean? So I just was taking everything day by day, step by step. And then I ended up getting a call that I was going back to school. So I put that on hold. And now it's just, I'm ready to get back into it now. But, you know, I just got to wait for things to, you know, not be as serious anymore because, you know, I got my grandma living home with me. I don't want to go out and get COVID and bring it back to her.
Yeah, definitely,
you know what I mean?
definitely.
So
man, again, yo, I appreciate you coming on here, man.
Thank you for having me.
Listen, you family, so there ain't nothing, man. So before we leave, you got any advice you want to give any high school player that, you know, might have to transfer, or, you know, any type of advice you want to give them coming up the ranks?
Some advice I can give is just never stop grinding. I mean, you're gonna face a lot of stuff in high school, college, when you graduate college. No matter what, you're never gonna stop facing adversity, especially as an African American male in this country. So what I tell you, just never stop grinding. Like me transferring and stuff like that, coming from Willingboro and going to Cherokee, it's a huge difference. I mean, if you know, you know. But I mean, you can't be complacent. You know, like I said, you don't know what's at the top of the stairs. That don't mean you're never going to stop walking up them. So just keep pushing forward, you know, keep a clear mind, surround yourself with some people that are on the same mission or are doing better than you in life. Because if you surround yourself by people that don't really have a mission, they're just going to bring you down, you know, not to talk down on anybody or nothing like that, not to say anything about anybody's friends or not, but that's just the real. You're going to lose some friends. Like that's what it is. In high school, that's what I really realized. Like, I liked trying to make friends and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, when it came down to it, Friday nights, I had nobody beside me but my brothers and my coaches. And that's just what it is. So, I mean, just keep working. And, you know, some advice with this pandemic, using it as an opportunity. Like, I know Willingboro High School, they canceled the rest of their season and everything, but you got to see it as an opportunity. So those seniors, you got to see it as you graduating early. I mean, just get out there, you could get with me. I'll be training and stuff like that. Never close the door on an opportunity. You got college players at home right now too, so, you know, work with them. But like I said, just see this pandemic as an opportunity. You just gotta open your mind to new things and just grind. I mean, don't say you gotta start a business, but, you know, just work. And that's just what it is.
Listen, coming from a youngster, man. So, again, thank you for coming on. I kind of want to end this with the quote that he said that when his coaches told him, man, life is about energy and effort, man. So you got to put forth the effort and energy. What you give out, what you going to get back. And that's real. So